Yo guys, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and today we are training our 46 minutes of chess. And I realized actually this whole time, I don't know how many days it's been now, I have forgotten to update this overlay where it says 45 minutes. So okay, we're definitely doing 46 minutes. And yeah, basically today is round 6. Is it round 6? Round 5? Round 6. Round 6 of the Prague Open. And it's very unfortunate because I'm going to have to play my good friend Eric this round. So it just so happens the two English players are playing each other. And yeah, we're going to have a proper game. I mean, sometimes you get this when, you're playing a friend. You kind of just like, feel like not playing, use the rest. And, you don't necessarily want to like, ruin each other's tournament, right? But ultimately, we decided pretty early on that, okay, we want to use the opportunity to learn, we want to play. So, we're just going to play. And no matter what happens, we're just going to have a chess party afterwards and enjoy ourselves, whatever the result, right? So basically, we're playing and I'm looking forward to the game. So, in order to play a good game, though, I still need to be sharp, and that is why we're going to continue with some woodpecker method exercises today. Just keep up the routine. Just keep staying sharp as much as possible. So let's begin. What is going on here? Wait. Did we finish? Oh, no way. We've done all of these exercises? I didn't even realize that we've made it this far. Okay, that's really cool. Okay, so I guess we'll keep learning these exercises. Let's begin. Right, here we go again. So, black has an extra pawn. We've also got the bishop pair against bishop and knight. Looks like an extremely double-edged position because our king is very exposed to the c-file. There's also these ideas of queen d6 checks, so, a move like rook c8 won't even be enough to hold. So, it looks like this position, it's kind of do or die. Like, black's pieces on the king side are ready to try and sacrifice and win. White also is looking to win next move as well. So, at this moment, probably, realistically, I want to just calculate my checks. Because in a position that's so double-edged, if I don't play a check here, it's very likely that I'm going to lose. So I want to look at my checks first. And I think I can save the time and do that. So what checks do I have in this position? I have queen h1, I have queen f2, I have queen e1. I've got queen h2. So 4 different checks with the queen. I've also got rook takes g2 as well. Any other checks? I don't think so. So okay, let's start with the one that feels most promising. And in a way, maybe rook takes g2 felt most promising at first, but actually I like this idea of queen h1. Because queen h1 kind of lures the king onto the side. Welcome DC the Pro, new viewer. Welcome. How's it going? How did you come across Chess Lifestyle, or it just popped up on your feed? I mean, if it pops up on your feed, that's pretty cool. That means YouTube is doing me some favors. But yeah, we're basically just solving some tactics. I'm currently in Prague for a chess tournament, and I want to stay sharp, make sure I'm not missing any stupid tactics in my round coming up. So yeah, in this position, I want to look at queen h1. So if queen h1 check, okay, king takes h1 isn't forced. They can play king f2 as well, but let's say king takes h1. Then I want to go bishop takes f4 with check, discovered check with the rook. King goes to g1. And then, do we have a follow-up here? I'm realizing that maybe giving up the queen is too much. And I'm also realizing now this rook takes g2 actually might have some help from this bishop, potentially. So maybe this is useful, right? Because queen h1, the thing is if I take here and the king runs, somehow it feels a little bit slow. Like, maybe I can keep looking at these captures, like rook takes g2. If king takes g2, maybe now we can push with check. But they can always block. I don't think we have enough here. So I'm not getting the sense that Queen H1 is working out. Oh, on your suggestions, fantastic. Let's go. What's my rating? So I am 1976 FIDE. Hopefully gonna get back to 2000 by the end of the summer, but okay, like I'm not gonna deep it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Online, I'm rated 2500, like in my ratings. So, like sometimes going below, sometimes going a bit above, but I'd say 2500 is where I feel like I'm at. Santosh, another new viewer, I believe. I don't think I've seen you here before, so welcome. I do own a chess channel. Can we do a collab? Yo, that's bold, Santosh. That's bold. From hello bro to can we collab? That is like some collab speedrunning that I've never witnessed in the past. So maybe Santosh, if you convince me that your content is good, you join these streams a few more times, we build up a bit of a rapport, then maybe we'll do a collab. But for what I know, like I know two sentences from you. Like you could be a serial killer. You could be someone who uses stockfish every game. Like how do I know, right? So yeah, try and build these things up, I would say. That's like going on a first date and being like, yo, let's get married. I mean, respect. Like I appreciate the hustle. But yeah, okay, let's try and solve this. So what other moves do I need to consider here? So rook takes d2 then feels like the next most likely move to work. I mean, maybe we can very quickly just cancel out all of the other ideas. So what about queen h2? Queen h2 again, king f1, king f2 are options. Queen h2, if king takes h2, again we have this discovered check, bishop takes f2 check, but then king g1 and we transpose to the lines after king h1. So I don't think it's that unless I missed some key move. Queen f2 check really feels wrong. I mean, they just take queen takes f2 and we got nothing. Queen takes e1, we're just giving up the queen, and again, doesn't feel like we've achieved anything. So I feel like it has to be rook takes g2 if it is a check. Maybe we can afford to make a threat, but again, the fact that there are so many ways that our king is getting attacked, maybe this is something that needs to be understood as well. Like, does white actually have a threat right now? Like, this is something I don't do enough. So, am I actually lost here if I don't play immediately? Maybe this doesn't actually lead to mate. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is I actually have an extra move here, because here there's no checkmate, and this I can also come here. I don't think there's a mate. Queen b8 check. Oh no, there is a mate. King e7 and then queen c7, rook c7 mate. So okay, there is this threat. So I need to be a bit careful. I mean, maybe there's some argument to say that if I play rook c8 here, then I actually don't get mated, and this is worth doing. So okay, maybe we've got some slow move that can survive. But we have to calculate rook g2, right? Rook g2 check. If the king moves, then we've got mate in one. So rook g2 forces king takes g2. And then what are we going to play? We've got d4 check. We've got queen g4 check. We've also got queen sack checks. We've also got rook g8 check. How does that work, actually? Because we remove a defender, which is the knight. We play rook g8 check. This actually feels really promising. I don't know why my intuition didn't find this earlier. So, okay, there's king f1 and king f3. If king f3... Where's the win? Also, for people who are joining the stream now, you are more than welcome to give your answers in chat. I won't be reading chat while I'm trying to solve the exercise. So, you can give it a go as well. If king f3... we've got queen takes f2. King e2 is forced. Then we can play rook g2 check, and then if here, then mate. And if they block with the queen, then we just win the queen. So rook g2, rook g8, they can't go king f3. That means they have to go king f1. And after king f1, do we have a follow-up? Maybe we've got queen h3. And also, you guys can't see, but there's a little timer down below. So I do need to make a move before that timer runs out. I would say I've got enough to play. I think in that position after king e2, I can give check, king here, and I can take here with check. So it feels like this is promising really, really strong with rook g8. So I'm pretty sure rook g8 is... it's actually an alternative. Interesting. I mean, rook g8 felt really strong. So, I mean, probably is working, right? But I'm kind of surprised it's an alternative. It feels like, you know, I've got to be very precise with this attack. So what, can I throw in d4 check first? The bishop blocks. If I throw that in, how does the line continue? Maybe I then give check. And again, if they come this way, I can be giving this check. Maybe throwing this in is useful. Okay, this is the way that went. So rook g8 is mating in various ways. Wow, you can even play bishop g5 here. That's kind of shocking. So you don't get mated first. That's kind of cool. But yeah, let's just double check that our lines following rook g8 were also winning. I wonder what chat was saying. You're good? I'm only 1900. Is that 1900 online or 1900 FIDE? And is this recorded? Yes. So the streams will be recorded and uploaded on YouTube after. Welcome fast. D4 more precise. Damn. And we see that here. D4 is the more precise move. I mean, I didn't really see what difference this makes. Is it just a faster checkmate, or maybe the other line doesn't even checkmate? That's interesting to see. So yeah, again, king f3 is met by queen f4. And here we can even pick up the bishop. King f1 is also queen f4. And we pick up the bishop and lead to checkmate. Fair enough. Good spot, Faz. Yeah, so in this position, I was looking at rook g8, and I was kind of calculating these two moves, and I was running out of time at the end. But my feeling after this move, I wanted to play queen h3. Okay, good. And then I wanted to play rook g2. And okay, if they have to block queen f2, then we're very happy. We win the house, and we're just completely winning. Like. In the classical game, I will never lose this position with the black pieces, right? Where we're just completely... Like this position, queen and two bishops against two rooks, we can be more than happy. So, yeah, I calculated up to here, even under some time trouble. And, yeah, that's nice. So, glad we could have the confidence to play rook g2. Okay, let's do one more. I thought it was force mate because the e3 square is covered. After, wait. The pawn controls e3. Aha. Is that the point? Like, you block the queen and you control e3, and that gives you more mating nuts. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, whatever wins is good, right? Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so we have 4 pieces against 4 pieces. 2 rooks and a queen, 2 rooks and a queen, 4-7, 4-7. Okay, so materials equal. We've actually only traded 1 pawn off the board. What can we remark about the position? So there's some tension on our d4 pawn, we've got some tension on their c5 pawn, the knight on e5 and d7 are kind of eyeing each other up. The bishop on f4 controls some key squares on black's queen side. Maybe black's got some tension with their bishop on b7 hitting our knight. One very, very important point is that the e6 pawn is also loose right now. So there's some x-ray pressure here. Also, there's some x-ray pressure on our own queen. So yeah, there's some promise in this position. We are underdeveloped with the rooks, but maybe somehow this king is a bit weak as well, right? This f pawn has been moved forward. So what candidate moves do we have? Do we have any checks? No. Do we have any captures? Yes. We've got takes on d7, got takes on f5, got takes on c5. Okay, so we've got 3 different captures that probably should be looked into. But in terms of threats, I saw quite a nice idea is to play the move knight f7. Because the idea is that we're revealing the attack on e6. We're also hitting the queen, so it's quite forcing. Maybe knight c6 should be checked as well. So actually, to be honest, when I see these moves, the fact that knight f7 and knight c6 are so forcing in the sense that they hit the queen, I'm actually going to just start there. I feel like these moves really want to be looked at, so let's look. So if knight f7 and we attack the queen. Okay, they can always move the queen. Maybe this doesn't come with a big enough threat, and they can just move the queen. But let's just, for argument's sake, say they take. Then my idea is to take... oh, there's a better move order. Knight f7, king takes, queen e6 first. Right? Because then, if the king takes, then knight g5 is actually checkmate. So knight f7, king takes, queen e6. If king f8 then, which is probably forced, we can play knight g5, and do they have a way to defend f7? Maybe they can play knight e5. I mean, they can sack back the piece, right? But then we can just take it, and we're still threatening mate, and I don't see how they defend f7. They can also throw this in. Maybe we can take this as well, and then they can take and defend, but then they're a piece down. So I think we're fine there. So knight f7 looks promising, but what if they just move the queen some and they can't go here because of the bishop, as we said? So there's knight f7, maybe queen c8. And do we have a nice follow-up? We've still got this queen e6, looks very, very strong, right? So before I play it, I also want to check out this knight c6 as well. Like, is this also looking good? Because then maybe one move is better than the other, right? So knight c6, if they just take, we can take on e6, they can move, and then we can take the bishop, or we can try and play knight g5. Again, this looks very strong as well. Like, knight c6 looks very, very strong. Maybe the point is you can just go here, but then you can just win this pawn. And you're threatening to win this as well. So what's actually better here? Knight c6 or knight f7? Knight f7, e6. So I reckon that one of these moves has a defense, and I need to find it. Okay, so knight f7. If they go queen c8, what was my move again? I was just going to take on e6. Is that really enough? It feels enough. Like, I'd be really happy with that. Maybe the problem with that... Oh, what about knight f7, queen c8, queen takes e6, knight f8? So you hit the queen. But then you can do double check. And then king h8, queen g8, knight takes g8, and knight f7 smothered mate. So I don't think knight f8 is working. Yeah, I mean, knight f7, queen c8, queen takes e6. You're threatening this double check. How do you even defend? Maybe you can play rook f8, but then at the very least you pick up the bishop on e7. This looks really good, right? So knight f7, we probably have to take. In which we can go queen takes e6. They have to play king f8. So I like how forcing this is. And then knight g5 looks really strong. So in this position, how do we defend? Or can they defend? I feel like the only move I can see is knight e5. That's the only defense I can see that actually protects the mate. And we can take with the bishop or the pawn. I feel like if we take with the pawn, they then try and defend with the bishop. We can take and they can take. And we don't have a mate, but we have a piece up. And I feel like we should be really happy there. Yeah, I like knight f7 more. I think this just feels more promising. And queen e6. I didn't even see the king g6 was a move. I looked at king f8 and I looked at king takes e6. I just completely missed this move. But it also feels very bad, right? It feels like, you know, everything is winning. But okay, let's just check. So bishop takes f5 feels like the most obvious move. Are there any other checks before we calculate this? There's queen takes f7. Maybe there's knight h4. Okay, so let's start with just one of these moves. I don't know which one. Maybe bishop takes f5. Here this forces king h5. Then we can go g4 check, which forces knight takes g4. And then we go bishop takes g4. The king is completely mated. Yeah, so it's just mate after g4. Alternative, I mean, is checkmate not good enough? Woodpecker method. Maybe this one is also leading to mate because we've got queen takes f5. Okay, apparently not as well. Bruh, just... Why are you making me solve multiple checkmate in 2 or 3? What else is good here? I don't even know. Maybe g4 is threatening mate. I don't even know if it is. Probably is, right? Why would you play g4 when you've literally got forced mate? I will never understand. Oh, this is wrong. It's mate. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap about this. Like, I'm so tilted that G4 is the move. Like, you've literally got forced mate. You've literally got forced mate with checks. Why would you not just? Yeah, this is literally over with checkmate on G5. Like, why would you play G4? It's so unnecessary. Like, you could just miss something. But yeah, knight c6 wins only one pawn, which we have calculated as well. But this is just stronger. And king f8, knight g5. And black has to give up too much to avoid mate. So I assume this is going to be the line with knight e5, and you have to give up a piece, right? So knight e5, d takes e5, bishop d5. This is what we calculated, right? C d5, queen d5. And in this position, I said that we just win a piece, and I could stop there. But actually, yeah, this is really nice. I can threaten, I can play for mate. They have to take, and this displaces the protection of the queen. So, okay, maybe I could have seen this to be even more short, but already being a piece up was good enough for me to be able to play this. Okay, so knight f7 and knight g5 are candidate moves, right? I didn't even consider knight g5 as a candidate. Just knight f7 felt the way to go. Yep, knight f7 seems to work. Nice. Welcome Jan to the stream. There was this Chinese teenager at my over the board tournament who was 2500 lead chess, 1900 FIDE. Like, what is your issue? Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's honestly fair. I mean, online chess is just such a different dynamic to FIDE. I mean, literally, I've played like 5 rounds of my tournament and I'm currently sitting at negative. I mean, I'm at 2500 and I'm currently losing rating. It's tough. It's really tough. Like, the opponents are strong. Like my 2150 opponent, he used to be above 2200. He's definitely really strong. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was at least 2700 online. It's like online and in-person chess, just very different ball games. So not much correlation there, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, 3 rounds to go. I'm not losing hope. I have a very, very big game today. And it's unfortunate that I'm playing my friend Eric, who is also like 2400, 2500 online. And his FIDE is 1800. So yeah, it's going to be a really tough game. I don't think that we're too dissimilarly matched in overall strength. So I'm just going to have to give it my best and yeah, try and do my best, right? That's all you can do. Okay, yeah, 1900 chess.com as opposed to 1900 FIDE. Okay, got it, DC. Yeah, I mean, we're all on a journey. It's all relative, like, yeah, I think like, and everyone is welcome on the stream. So yeah, that's still, yeah, 1900 chess.com rapid is also very, very good. I don't know whether I can convince you, but I can give you my signature software that boosts your stream. Interesting. So this is all the software have an AI that detects your win-losses and gives you comments on your channels? Interesting. I'm not a serial killer and I don't drink beer. That's very, just gain kind of comments and likes. I'm also afraid that my stream is broken. I hope not. Okay, it seems to be doing fine. I think it's just my phone that's kind of lagging. I could be 2000 FIDE if I stop throwing. Well, if I stop throwing is a very big statement, right, Jan? Like, chess is just so difficult. There are so many ways that things can go wrong. If you want to be 2000 FIDE, you need to be an all-round player. You need to improve your weaknesses. You need to improve your strengths. Yeah. I think this statement, like, it rubs me the wrong way as well. Like, I've heard so many people say, like, oh, I could be this, I could be that, if, like, you either do it or you don't. And that's what makes it so difficult, right? Like, I mean, it's actually so hard to actually achieve it. I mean, I reached 2000 FIDE once, and went back down. But, okay, I hope that I'll get back. And, yeah, like, this is why also, like, Steven's achievement of FIDE Master, like, it's actually so impressive. Like, in this day and age, like, you have to just be so strong, and everything has to come together, and you have to have so much experience. So, yeah, it's rough. But okay, let's have a look at this one. Maybe we can do a few more. I just want to make sure I preserve energy for the match as well. Like, this is obviously the most important thing for today. So, okay, we've got equal material. Our rook on f1 is looking a bit passive though. things to remark, his king is in the center. We have potential sacrifices that disrupt the king's protection. But okay, yeah. What should we calculate here? So we've got some captures here. We've got knight takes f7. This really looks like it should be very strong. Knight takes d7 doesn't feel like it disrupts the defense enough, right? Knight c6 also activates the bishop. So knight f7 feels like the only move in terms of a capture. There are no checks. And also, what other moves can potentially disrupt defenses? Maybe knight f5 could be one to try and reveal more pressure on this e-file. So knight f7 or knight f5. Yeah, I feel like this is one of the two moves. So maybe we'll see some resulting move if neither of these moves work. But let's start calculating. So let's look at knight f7 first. If knight f7, we are making a fork on the rooks, and if they ignore it, then we are simply going to win an exchange. So that's good. So knight f7, king takes f7 is pretty much forced. In which, okay, what options do we have? We've got queen takes e6. Anything else? I feel like queen takes e6 makes the most sense. At least we should look at it first. So knight f7, king f7, queen e6. Black can play king e8 or king f8. On king e8, queen takes e7 is checkmate. So king f8 is forced. Knight f7, king f7, queen e6, king f8. And here, at the very least, we can go queen takes e7. So if we're already picking up the piece, that's already great. So why is this even like in the intermediate section? This is like the most obvious move, the most obvious follow-up, and there's no like what is this? Unless there's a better move than queen takes e7, but I'm very happy to just win 2 pawns, right? I'm not fussed about. Yeah, this should be in the easy exercises. I don't know why. Maybe they're just putting it here for some moral support, like in case you're getting wrecked by these exercises. I was broken for a second. Okay, I'm glad that it's back on. I'd like to do a collab with a streamer who I can talk chess with. That's all. Nothing much. Not for views or subs. That's just for fun. Honestly, Santosh, I like the sound of you. Maybe we can do it. If you drop me a message on Ponziani Master, that's my Leech's handle. Maybe we can talk some more. But we'll see. I mean, I'm also quite a busy guy. So I'm not sure how much time I'll have. But yeah, if we can do something, yeah, it sounds cool. Okay, let's do one more. So, okay, the first thing, because I've done so many of these woodpeckers, the first thing that jumps out to me is queen takes h2, king takes h2, knight takes g4, and I pick up the queen. So, is that not just really strong? Like, why is this in the intermediate section again? I mean, are we not just completely up material here? Queen takes h2, knight takes g4, the king moves somewhere, we pick up the queen. We just have 2 rooks against rook and bishop, and we even have an extra pawn or something. Yeah. So what is going on here? Like, why is this in the intermediate? This is just like, these are back to the easy puzzles. Okay, I won't complain. Okay, so let's have a think in this position. So that's the thing as well. Like, if you just see a really strong continuation and you're 100% sure it works, then you don't really need to evaluate, consider candidate moves. Like, of course, it's still better, but finally convince you, it seems. Santosh, where do you get your confidence from, man? Like, it's crazy. How to text you? As I said on Lichess, if you drop me a message on Ponziani Master. But okay, we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, I'm a pretty spontaneous guy, so like, of all the people that this could possibly work on, this might actually work on me. And I also have, I mean, the way I got this match against Robert Ramirez, right? I kind of just shoot my shot, and yeah, it worked out. This guy with 150k subscribers just decides to help me out, like some random dude. But exactly, right? You got to shoot your shot and just see. So yeah, we'll see, Santosh. But okay, in this position, let's have a think. So we're a pawn down. What to do? So there is definitely some pressure on f7. The king on f8 is weak. The rook on h8 is terrible. We've got some pressure with our bishop. We've got our rooks on the e-file. So this all looks very promising. So in this position, what candidate moves do we have? We've got knight takes f7. We've got bishop takes e6. Both of these look really good. But okay, we shouldn't discount our checks. We've got knight d7. We've got knight g6. So any other captures? Maybe knight takes c6, but probably not. Okay, then what about threats? Maybe f5 is like something that can disrupt black's defenses slightly. Maybe we could play knight f3, although it feels like we're going in the wrong direction. So okay, let's look at all of these moves. So let's start with our checks, just to be thorough. So let's assume knight d7. Knight d7, I think they can play rook takes d7. And that looks really convincing to me. I don't feel like we've got enough there. Knight g6, hg6, activates the rook. Don't have enough. So what about captures? Okay, if we play bishop takes e6, pawn takes e6. Don't really see a follow-up. Okay, what about knight takes f7? If knight takes f7, if they go bishop takes e7, bishop takes e7, king takes e7, rook takes e7, and we win a pawn, and we also get very active rooks, that looks quite promising. Maybe it's not like winning, but it definitely looks alright. So are there any alternatives? Like knight f7, if they take on b3, at the very least we can take on h8, and we're hitting the knight, we're hitting the bishop. That looks very strong. Knight f7, if king takes bishop takes e6, yeah, it still feels really good. Maybe knight f7 is just a move. Like, we really can't complain, like, winning a pawn here, I think. Hold on a sec. Yeah, I mean, knight f7, I was just realizing that if we take on e7, maybe they can take like this, and actually we lose a piece. But the point is, yeah, on knight f7, if they take on b3, we can take on h8. And that looks really strong. Like, any knight moves, we can always throw in this check. I think knight f7 looks really good. Are there any other candidates I'm missing within knight f7, like for black? Really doesn't look it. I think this is just winning. Maybe they can play knight f5. But then at the very least we can play rook e6, and they can't really take because we've got discovered checks. Like, it looks super strong. So I think this is just it. Yeah. So they don't even give a follow-up. They're just like, yeah, this is completely winning. If bishop f7, yeah, we looked at this line where we just take on e7. Rook e6 is good, and bishop e6 is also good. Yeah. I think rook e6 is what I played, right? But in any case, both of them win a pawn, and yeah, this is very nice. Yep, knight f7 looks super strong. Okay, Santosh says sack for knight. Nice. Faz also mentions bishop takes e6 with the idea to play knight f3. Yeah, looks like it could win a pawn, get very active. To be honest, I reckon it's a strong move as well. But probably knight f7 is just stronger, as you said. Right? Difference between crushing and just being good. Right? Takes a knight f3. Yeah, really nice spot. So this is why knowing your candidates is very useful as well, because as you saw in the beginning, I was looking at this knight f3 move as well. Like, even though it probably isn't the right idea, maybe in some position, in some line, the idea is useful. Alakine has a style, so all the crazy moves are the right move. That's interesting. Does Alakine really play so crazy? What's famous about Alakine? Alakine was like the hard worker who calculates the attacks really, really well. I think Alakine was a strong calculator, and Capablanca was the intuitive player, right? Isn't that the way around? Capablanca had crazy intuition, and Alakine had crazy strong calculation. Yeah, was an attacking player, right? Yeah, fair enough. That's the main thing I know about him. Okay, good to know, Josh. Also, welcome to the stream. Oh no, you came earlier as well? Okay, you've just been a bit quiet on the last couple of exercises. Okay, let's... how did your deadline go, actually? Like, didn't you have a deadline for, like, some work? Is that, like, coming up, or has it just got through? I just started reading some of New York 1924. Damn. Was that, like, a World Championship match or something? Or, like, some really strong closed tournament? It rings a bell, New York 1924. But okay, let's do another one. So, okay, what's going on here? We've got queen, 2 rooks, and a knight against queen, 2 rooks, and a bishop. We've got 3, 5, 7, 3, 6, 7. Okay, so equal material, but we've got this difference in minor piece. Anything to remark on the position? So the queen is a bit offside. Bishop is loose. Maybe we've got some X-ray pressure on F1. This pawn is hanging. Interesting. Like, this is definitely not a position where I would think, like, oh, yeah, we've got a tactic. Although now I'm suddenly noticing something. Yeah, we got some pressure on this pawn, and maybe this is actually just a fork. Right? But okay, this needs to be calculated, right? Like, we can't just play it because, you know, there's always, like, potential counterplay. Like, what if, like, they try, like, rook here or something? You know, it needs to be calculated. So, okay, let's look at our candidate move. So, checks make no sense. Captures, yeah, these captures don't really make any sense as well, I don't think. I mean, we removed the defense of his rook, but at the expense of losing a rook, so probably can't be good. And the only other capture is this one. And to be honest, this one really feels like it should be calculated, so let's look at it now. So if knight takes c4, if they take on d7, we pick up the loose bishop. And I don't think we're getting mated or something, we just hide on h8, like if they check. So knight takes c4 looks really good if they try and ignore it. So knight c4, let's say they take. Okay, they could also move the bishop. But if they move the bishop somewhere, I don't know where, maybe even back to c1, I reckon at the very least, if we ever play d5, the problem is that this pawn is weak. Maybe we can just play b5 there, right? A queen protects the pawn, we hit the queen, we secure our knight, and we protect d7. So that's good enough. You want to try and find like simple lines that justify your calculation, right? So knight c4, queen takes c4 seems forced. And then the whole point of this is to play d5 and try and pick up an exchange. It's not completely clear, right? They can take a pawn and we can take... but still, a rook for a knight and pawn in a position like this, I feel like seems to be good. I mean, we've even got threats like this and some back rank problems, right? So knight here, queen takes here. I think they have to try something like this. But then we can always take. And then they take, and then we take, and then we're also better here, right? So I think knight c4 is just completely winning. Are there any other candidates that we're missing here? Really don't think so. And you can see that, you know, like I'm going a bit slower, right, with this kind of these kind of moves. But it's more important, especially when you're playing classical chess, that you're correct as opposed to fast. And that's annoying that I missed this move. That's actually a really nice resource, which maybe I should have spent a bit longer to try and find. Because to be honest, right now I could be losing a piece, right? I could be completely blundering and losing a piece here, and I lose the game, right? So I need to see this move. But luckily for me, I think I've got these ideas of a6 or c6 to try and displace the queen off this line. a6 feels slightly better. I mean, c6 like hangs a pawn, right? So a6 feels like the better of the two. But then they can play queen c6. If I take, they can take. And they even win back a second pawn. I'm really not sure how I feel about that. So is there something better here? That's really annoying that I missed this. I mean, a6, queen here? I don't really have a choice, right? Maybe what I can do is I can take, and then here I can play queen f7, so at least I can take this pawn. So I basically remain a pawn up. Probably still worth doing. I mean in this position I really don't have much choices, right? Like if I don't do something about this, I'm literally just going to be a piece down. So a6 I think is needed. The only good move, and with zero justification, right? Like sometimes this woodpecker, I think Axel Smith wrote this book, but it's kind of like the classic like GM kind of annotation here, where it's just like, oh, the only good move with zero explanation, right? Like you gotta give the full line, right? Like you can't just say a6 and then there's nothing here. Like queen c6 is like testing, right? And you need to find queen f7, or you don't. Okay, maybe you don't. But why is this actually... Okay, I guess the rook is just stronger than the bishop and 2 pawns, but... it's bishop and 1 pawn, so I miscalculated. How did I miscalculate here? Did I count wrong in the starting position? I did count wrong in the starting position. We're a pawn up in the starting position. So that's why it's very important to evaluate correctly at the start. I didn't realize we were a pawn up. I thought we were a pawn down. No, I thought we were equal in material, and that's why I was always miscalculating this. But we're actually a pawn up. That's really annoying. We are actually a pawn up. Okay, well that makes more sense than why basically it doesn't matter. You don't have to be so precise. Yeah, queen f7. You can pick up another pawn, and this is even better now because then it's 2 pawns. But yeah, this is nice. Okay, let me see what chat is saying. So yeah, knight takes c4 looks cool. Yeah, I made the deadline. Fantastic. Congrats, Josh. Got some books, messaged you about it. Okay, I haven't checked. Yeah, as you probably know, right? Like with Prague Open and everything, just been very busy. So I will check at some point. I've been working through Moldoretzky. Very nice. I would like to collab with Michael too. Bring 0 viewers to the table. Jan, you gotta work on your marketing of your Twitch, because yeah, if it's chess related and you have a username like XJCL or something like this, like how is anyone gonna find it, right? So but yeah, at some point, Jan, we should do a collab. Why not? Aliakin versus Alan London 1928. That is an OP game, like an immortal game. Fair enough. Maybe I've seen it. In Blitz, I would play first and think later. Yeah, no, this is not possible for classical. If you want to do well. New York 1924 was a book by Aliakin about a strong round robin involving Lasker, Capablanca, Marshall. I read it a while ago, not recently. I see. I guess Aliakin was playing as well. I don't believe the compensation is sufficient, to be honest. You have Queen f7 to block. Yes, exactly. Santosh, I don't know who you are. Yeah, exactly. Santosh, you need to put up a report on the channel. Like join in some more streams, become a regular, and then we'll talk. Michael needs to watch Sesame Street. Do I really? Why? Alright, let's do one final one. And then we'll call it a day. Okay, another symbol game. Okay, so what's going on? Let's actually count the pawns correctly this time. So, equal pawns. We actually have an exchange down. Now, Black's king is extremely weak in the center of the board. And the move bishop c5 jumps out to you like, like someone's on fire or something, right? Like bishop c5, like it's just so in your face. But okay, let's actually calculate carefully. So let's look at our different options, right? And is there anything else to note? I mean, Queen d1, we can always hide on h2. Looks like our bishop's going to be even more powerful than their rook because, yeah, like look at how this square is controlled. f6 is also controlled. This king looks really toast. So, okay, in this position, what candidates do we have? So we've got bishop c5 as one. We've got queen f6 as another. I don't fancy giving up my queen. So maybe this is another check, but probably not, right? Okay, so let's look at our candidates. So let's start with bishop c5. And I think it has to be a check here. I mean, like, why wouldn't you give a check? Like, a threat would feel like so slow. Maybe rook b7 needs to be looked at as well. So, okay, bishop c5. In this position, the king is literally stuck. So they either have to sack or they have to block. If they block, we can literally take the rook with a pawn. And then we're up material. And again, we have to be better best. So bishop c5, they have to sack. And then the question is actually, maybe after the sacrifice, they're not doing so badly. Right? Maybe in this position, they can play king e8. And how do we actually win? So maybe that's the point. Maybe it's not so easy. Although we can give a check, and actually, regardless of which square they choose, we can give this check. And we can actually force a trade of queens. Okay, they don't have to trade because their rook is actually protecting, but we will get a trade of queens. And are we winning that endgame? It looks decent. It looks decent for white. I definitely take white. But is it winning? I don't know. So in the good words of Frizz, we should not just tunnel vision 1-9. Let's look at all of our options. So let's say queen f6. So queen f6 in this position, they have two options. If they play king d7 in this position, then what can we do? We can go rook b7 check, and on any move here, we're even giving checkmate to checkmate, right? So queen f6, they can't go king d7. So that means they have to go to either one of these squares. So let's start with king e6. Sorry, king e8. What to do here? Maybe we can give this check. If they go king e7, then we can give this check, king e6, and queen here is mate. But I have a feeling that when we give the check, we can go king d7. Don't know if we've got a follow-up there. We can give check, but this time they can keep running, and now the queen is like really offside. So somehow this doesn't feel like it's completely winning. Maybe we've got e6. Maybe we've got the time to play such a move. Also looks very strong. Looks very, very strong. Although they can play rook f5, maybe. But then we can take check with the pawn. King would probably need to go to f8. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult for me to calculate that. So let me just see. Are there any obvious wins that I haven't calculated yet? What about this rook b7? Right? Rook b7. If they go king... So they actually don't have too many moves, right? They either have to block or they have to play king f8. If king f8, we can take with check. If king e8, we mate. If king g8... Oh man, we can win another pawn. And make him block. Also looks promising. These kind of positions are absolutely horrendous to have, especially if you have time trouble. It's like everything kind of looks good, and you need to make like a decision which is actually winning. Man, I don't even know. I mean, maybe it's worth calculating this bishop c5, rook c5, queen c5, because at least we win the exchange, right? They go king e8. And then what about queen b5 check? If queen takes b5, rook takes b5. Maybe they can just hold with rook a8. I don't believe it. I don't believe they can hold that. I feel like my king is going to infiltrate. Like, practically speaking, it looks super good. I mean, in a game, I'd probably play bishop c5, given that I haven't found a move. But let's keep trying. Let's keep trying. Let's see if we can find something. Queen f6. King d7 leads to mate, so they have to play king f8 or king e8. If king f8, can we refute this? King f8, at the very least, we can take on h6. Rook g8. King g8, and then what? I don't know. I mean, I can take on g5 there. The king would have to go back to f8. King back to 8, queen back to h6, king g8. Have we achieved anything? I mean, at this moment, I really just prefer bishop c5. Like, I don't see... but what about queen f6, king f8, e6? Again, this e6 idea. And again, you've got this rook f7, rook f5. How does this go? Then you've got e7 check with the fork. And that's definitely winning. So, okay, that means queen f6 check, king e8 is the only move. So that's promising. If king e8 is the only move, that's definitely promising. But what is the follow-up here? We already looked at queen f6, king e8, queen h8. Didn't work because of king d7. So queen f6, king e8. I want to say e6 looks promising again. e6, we're threatening mate. Rook f5 probably seems like the only move. And pawn takes f7 check. King f8. Do we have something here? I mean, it really looks promising. It really looks promising, but... Queen f6, king e8, e6, rook f5, pawn takes f7, king f8. queen takes h6 maybe? If king takes f7, do we have like queen h7 check, king back to like e8 or f8? Man, it definitely looks super promising. I think I see a mate actually. If king f8 there, we can even sack the bishop with bishop c5 check, rook takes c5, and then rook f6 leads to mate. Let me show you this line. I've got like 30 seconds with the timer, but this is the line I'm looking at. e6, rook f5, takes on f7, king f8. I go takes on h6, I go takes on f5, f7. I then go queen h7 check, because the rook is blocking the queen, right? The king needs to go back to f8, because otherwise I just got rook e6 check. And here I can go bishop c5 check, they can take. And then I can give check here. And this leads to mate, I believe, because king e8, I've just got queen mate. And if they go king g8, then queen check, king here, and mate, I think. So I think queen f6 leads to mate. Yeah, not easy at all. Not easy at all. e6. Oh, and they play queen f5. I only saw rook f5, so that's a bit annoying that I missed this, but probably this wins as well, right? If I give this check, where can we go? Okay, so let's look at this again. We've got these two options, right? So if king f8, what's the idea? Check, king takes. This time we don't have a queen h7. What other candidate moves do we have? We've also got queen h8. Does this work this time? Now the pawn is covering this escape, right? Maybe this is actually just losing for them. Yeah, I absolutely, I'm back to this hate, like despising this kind of chess, but okay, it can come up. So we need to find the move. So queen h8 is one check. Pawn f7 is another. Pawn f7 looks so good, man. Pawn f7, king d7. Yeah, pawn f7, king d7 is just mate, right? Because rook b7, king c8, queen c6 is mate. So pawn f7, king f8 is forced. In this position, what to play? Pawn f7, king f8, we can go bishop c5, and if rook takes, we can take on d8. King takes, and I feel like that's almost already justification to play it, just because his king is very weak, and we still have these major pieces looming. But what's the follow-up? Rook b7 check, king g6, maybe queen e8 check, king f6, and at the very least rook f7. Okay, we can play it. We can play it. Yeah, this is winning, and then bishop c5 and check. And then this was rook b7, and this is where I thought that yeah, in this position we can either get like some ladder kind of mate going on, where king g6 and we transpose, right? We can give queen e8 and pick up the queen at the very least. So this is winning. Let's go. Oh, that was tough. That was really tough. But I'm glad we got that. And I'm also glad, like, we didn't just settle for bishop c5, because even though I think we've got decent chances in the rook endgame, okay, that rook endgame would still need to be grinded out. It's not easy at all, right? So this is like, this position. It's not even, it's saying this is equal. Damn. Yeah, maybe rook a8 is just a bad move, probably, yeah? So they even just give up the pawn, but try and get active. Yeah, that makes complete sense. Trying to get active with the king, and then they can somehow hold this. Yeah, so this is why it's very important to make use of these opportunities, but very tough to calculate everything cleanly. But yeah, we got there, so that's really nice. And interesting, they don't even give rook f5. I feel like rook f5 is also like a completely valid defense that needs calculating. And let's see if I was right here. So king f8, and I found, I think I looked at this, right? I think this was my move. And I was saying if takes, I was going to go queen h7, king e8. No, king e8 is just rook e6, so they have to go king f8, and this is where I found bishop c5. Let's go. Let's go. I found bishop c5 here. And then this is just winning. With mate, I'm so goated sometimes. They can't come this way? Okay, never mind. I mean, I saw this checkmate, but they actually have to go to E8 and then this is mate. But okay, that was a really, really good session. Thank you for the GGs, guys. Welcome, Tricky, to the stream. Glad to see you back on. Bro thinks he's Hikaru and drawing lines. I mean, nah, Hikaru can do this 10 times faster and 10 times more accurately. But okay, we can dream. We can practice. Just saying hi. My plane just landed. Hope your tournament is going well. Yeah, it's going well. Like, I'm on 50% right now, but unfortunately, I have to play a friend of mine next. Yanis, have you seen my DM on Lichess? I did, but this was ages ago, and I completely forgot taking a look at the position. So apologies for not having a look. I haven't done it on stream yet. I haven't even looked at it. So maybe at some point I will, but for the time being, I just want to focus on just keeping sharp, doing these woodpeckers, and trying to keep in shape for my ongoing tournament. So yeah, I'm gonna get some rest, eat some lunch, and yeah, have a big match against my friend in a few hours. So on that note, guys, I'm gonna call it a day, and thank you guys for tuning in and solving some tactics with me, and see you guys all tomorrow. Adios.